What comes to mind when you think of Lori and Troy?
Who? No. No, ask it again.
Any young man
Just
over
leave
here.
it. Nice dated.
I know.
Yeah. All right, ask it again.
What comes to mind when you think of Lori and Troy?
You go first.
Yeah, so for me, I see a great team. Both have immense servant hearts, and they live their ethos every day for me. Lori, I work closely with her because I'm in the choir and on the praise team, and she's just a delight to work with. She's patient and kind. Basically, when you look at the gifts of the Spirit, I think of Lori. As a matter of fact, I always say she puts the Lori in glory.
For me, I would say, if I had to come up with one word, that would be outliers. And for me, that's a great thing, because I've been in Christianity and the church world since I'm 14 years old. And there's, to some extent, formulas, in the churches. This is how church is done. This is how ministry is done. This is how the pastor and the pastor's wife operate. And when I came to Life Point, they kind of broke the mold on that. And it's really fun to watch. They're led of the Spirit. They're very true to who they are and what God's called them to. And for me, that's fun to watch, because I just really believe that that's how God's called all of us. We've got to, in the day, hear from Him and walk out our faith. And it doesn't look the same. It shouldn't anyway. So.
And I also think too that after getting to know them both, you can tell that both are very prayerful.
Yeah.
And so I think the success of the church is a result of a lot of prayer. I just feel that the church has been seasoned with prayer. They don't do anything without praying. They're never in a rush. And then when they hear the Lord, they move forward.
Yeah. Amen.
What do you like about the culture at Life Point?
As Kevin said, I like that it's very Spirit-led, and it's very word-focused. I really enjoy hearing about church history and some of those things, and it's very deeply unpacked, and I like that. And again, I do like that there's just this pause. Let's wait. There's always a lot of pressure to move forward, to do this, to do that, because that's what everyone else is doing. And there's a real just spirit nature. Like, we don't move until the Spirit tells us to move. And, so I like that.
Yeah. And I think the culture at Life Point overall, again, I would say that it is steeped in prayer. Mm-hmm. It's loving.
Yeah, very loving.
And so you have people supporting each other, looking out for each other. There's a lot of opportunity to serve, and people take advantage of that to serve one another, and I think those are good things. And there's a camaraderie there. Another thing I will throw in, actually, that I think is very good for me is when I came there shortly after being there, and I don't see this in every church, but Life Point is definitely one where the men are involved. They step up, they lead ministries, they serve. There's no lack of men, seeing men living their lives out in Christ in front of the church.
And just on the loving point, every church that I've attended always had okay, we're going to greet each other, take a few minutes to greet each other. And I've often said of Life Point, I'm like, this is the first church. Like, it was always awkward in every church. It was like, hi, and we did it. I said, this church, they actually really, really like it. Like, when we first came, I was like, whoa, they love this. And so that just comes through, that genuineness, that real love of people. And I think that that's a blessing.
How has the Lord used them in your life and growth? Well,
for me, I always like this in a leader, and Troy definitely does this. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of opinions, a lot of things that I'm working on, and he doesn't just kind of yes me. He listens. He does the research, and he's very thoughtful, and he's very, very frank when he feels like, I think you're off on this, or I don't agree with that, or this does resonate with me. And so he's a really, really, really good sounding board. And Lori is too, and there's a real genuineness to it. And I like that. You know, I feel like, you know, iron sharpens iron is a good thing. You know, that's how we get more and more like Christ. And it's great to have people that are going to tell you what they think and share with you what the Lord has shared with them. So I like that.
And for me, Lori, I most of my contact with Lori is through the praise and worship team and the choir. And she just, again, she always has a new word for us. She's deep. She had, you know, things she brings when she will share in front of, you know, before practice or things like that. I'll think about sometimes for days, you know, and the same thing when we have our sessions where the whole group comes together and she'll share her heart. It's just always a beautiful thing. And for me, Troy, from the first time I came here to Life Point, the first day was I knew right away the first day I walked in, because I was hearing hymns, which I grew up with. They were modernized, which I'm perfectly fine with, but I heard hymns, and then when it came time for Troy to teach, I was thoroughly taught, and I always learned something. I'm always diving into the word. As Hillary said, it's word-based, it's spirit-based, and that's really what we were looking for. We wanted to raise our daughter in that, and that's really just very important to the two of us, but it's not really important to the three of us.
So thank you guys for honoring the Lord and serving us, and just blessing us and our family. We just appreciate all the hard work and all the devotion, and we love the friendship, and we just continue to pray for you for God's best.
Yes.